On today's retro spot, we're going to be looking at the Playmates Earthworm Jim figures. We're going to be looking first at Earthworm Jim himself. Yeah, Playmates. Big company in the 90s, known really for 80s and 90s, known for mostly for their Ninja Turtles figures that they released. Playmates also did other things as well. Playmates really didn't, I don't think really did too much else of significance later on. I think the Playmates had the Star Trek license, which for the movie line at least, the recent movie line, I don't think really did all that well. Or was it the Terminator line? At any rate, though, I think Playmates' real lines to look at are the Ninja Turtles as well as the Earthworm Jim figures. So I figured go back, let's look at the Earthworm Jim figures, one of my favorite figures from the old days. But we're looking at Earthworm Jim. As you can see here, Earthworm Jim has spring-loaded real firing Jim head. Oh no. Yeah. It says Earthworm Jim, daring defender of Earth, the cosmos, and everything else. Certainly I hope everybody remembers Earthworm Jim. I believe was an exclusive first to, I think, was it Sega? I think, did Sega have it first and then Super Nintendo got it? I'm trying to remember here, but I love Earthworm Jim. I mean, Earthworm Jim has since been ported on many consoles. You can find it now on the Virtual Console on Wii. I think also the iTouch. If you happen to have an iTouch, Earthworm Jim can also be found on there as well. A very hard game. Earthworm Jim is a relentless game. You certainly get it handed to you quite often before you actually get good at it. The back of the card, it's like a newspaper. There's all these little things to read. It says Earthworm Jim. It says story thus far, superpower suit commissioned by Queen Slug for a butt accidentally falls to Earth and lands atop a poor defenseless dirt-eating worm. Suddenly an amazing evolution takes place. Emerging from the ultra-high-tech indestructible spacesuit comes the coolest superhero of our age, or any other age for that matter. It's Earthworm Jim, defender of Earth, the cosmos, and everything in between. Eat dirt, evildoers. But with his newfound power come newfound dangers, wacko dangers like Psychro, an overgrown crazed cow who will stop at nothing to retrieve the superpower suit for his beloved queen, not to mention a horde of other vile, villainous henchmen and assorted, demented dudes, all bent on destroying Earthworm Jim and getting that super suit. Get ready for a battle to end all battles with the only superhero who uses his head as a whip. Get ready for Earthworm Jim. Groovy. Now, for the sake of any other reviews that I do of these figures, I'm not going to go back and reread all that. But there is a snip-in segment that you can actually cut out. It's the equivalent of the file cards on G.I. Joe figures. And the read-up on... This is going to be a long package review. The read-up says, Earthworm Jim's really big weapons and accessories, big bulk plasma blaster, Jim's really big crow croaking gun, and snot. People of Earth, do not run in fear, do not run in your bare feet either. I am your new age superhero, Earthworm Jim. My superpowers are numerous, my strength is legendary. Why, I can even launch this huge heifer into air with one hand. Like so. Moo! Perhaps I should tell you a little about myself. First and foremost, I'm a worm. Secondly, I'm heavily armed. I know what you're thinking, a heavily armed worm isn't that bad. You can count on me in my segments that I am a good worm. How did this all happen? Well, there's this little evil Queen Slug for a butt. Hey, that's her name. Who commissioned this professor to build a super space suit so he could dominate the universe. While I was minding my own business, which is real easy for a regular worm to do, when the spacesuit accidentally falls from a sky and lands whoop right on me, suddenly by the great worm spirit whose segments span the labyrinths of eternity. Well, you can guess the rest of the story. Groovy, huh? The Queen's got an evil bird named Psychro after me, too. His sole goal is to get my super suit and return it to the Queen. But with my big bulk plasma blaster, a really big croaking gun, I'll not only save myself, I pledge to defend the defenseless, help the helpless, and make Psychro eat dirt at every turn. So rest assured that I, Earthworm Jim, together with my faithful servant Snot and sidekick Peter Puppy, shall protect you all. Hey, and if my weapons are not at hand, I can use my head as a whip. Pretty groovy, huh? I have to go now and save Princess What's-Her-Name. She's my girl. My God, this is a long read-up. I'm not going to do this with every figure review, but the other figures in this wave, after all this, is Earthworm Jim. We got Princess What's-Her-Name with Runt Zerbgard. We've got Monstrous Peter Puppy and Peter Puppy. We've got Earthworm Jim in Special Deep Sea Mission Suit with Special Mission Snot. We've got Battle Damage Earthworm Jim with Battle Damage Snot. We've got Psychro with Major Mucus, Hench Rat, and Evil the Cat. And we got Bob and Number 4. Whoa. Earthworm's Jim's really big weapons and accessories. We got Snot, Jim's sinus sidekick. He's slick, he's hot, and he goes by the name Snot. Jim picked him after all by himself. Oh. We got the big bulk blaster, plasma blaster. With a single blast of the most powerful worm weapon in the known universe, Jim can disintegrate 18 tons of metric matter and boil 2 eggs in under a minute. Groovy. And then we got Jim's really big croaking gun. It's the fastest weapon to ever be whipped out by a worm, and it's truly feared by all those opposed Earthworm Jim. Eat dirt, feather fiends. Wow. We haven't even gotten to the figure yet. But like I said, it's the very first Earthworm Jim figure that I'm reviewing, so I'll go over all that in this review, and then maybe the other reviews I won't cover off on all of that. But that's packaging, a very meaty package. What we'll do is we'll open this up. Yeah, there's still a toy in all this. We're going to open this up, and we're going to have a look at Earthworm Jim. So stay tuned, guys. If you're still awake, stay tuned. We're going to be looking at the figure next. I am so sorry, guys. I didn't realize that package end of the review was going to take as long as it did. I promise when I do the next Earthworm Jim figures, I probably won't spend as much time talking about the package and doing the read-ups as I did for this initial figure. The wait, though, I hope was worth it, because the figure outside of package is incredible. Earthworm Jim, still one of my favorite games from the 90s. There's so much to love about the game. Yes, it is a difficult game to play. It certainly is very unforgiving, but the character of Earthworm Jim is very cool indeed. And you know, the figure as a whole, I think, does look quite a bit like Earthworm Jim. Obviously, this is more accurate to the cartoon of Earthworm Jim. I mean, not really a lot of articulation. Certainly you can't expect too much from figures that you'll find in the 90s. His articulation is, though, he has an articulated shoulders. You can rotate the wrist. You can bend the legs. And really, that's about it. You can't really move the head. And the only real reason for it is that there's a switch on the back here. And when you press it... Oh! Earthworm Jim actually shoots out his worm body. And unfortunately, it's a little under-impressive because one that's out of his suit, you can see the bottom part of the missile that he fires. It would have been nice maybe if the worm body had been carried all the way down. Even if you had to keep it like this shape, they could have actually had put the grooves and the coloring in, so it did actually look completely like the worm. I'm wondering, though, if you can actually have him holding his head. You probably could. Without, you're going to have to kind of squeeze it in there. Maybe I won't do it. But when you get him out of package, he's got this little lip here. You actually have to push the head further in. And there you have Earthworm Jim in all his glory. His accessories, he comes with his gun, obviously. If you play the game, you probably have seen this gun quite a lot. And for those like myself who played the game, when you first go into the game, you probably go crazy with the gun, shooting at everything. Some of the characters that attack you in the game, especially the dog and the crows, this will probably come in handy quite a lot. He also does come with Snot. Now, unfortunately, and Playmates is known for this. Unfortunately, you sometimes get accessories that are all the same color. And if you've collected the Ninja Turtles, you know this as well, that all the accessories for each toy tend to all be the same color. The downside to it is Snot really isn't red. And this is sounding like a gross discussion, but even in the card here, you'll actually see that Snot is green. As well as Blaster has additional paint in there that really is omitted in the actual toy itself. But for some of the actual characters released, like for example Peter Puppy, which I'll get into later, his accessories actually have two different colors. It's not all one color. It's then unfortunate then that they couldn't have just given us a green plastic Snot. Instead they have to give us red, which I think kind of takes away from the character. Would have been nice if he was green. He also does come with his croaking gun as well. His really big croaking gun is the actual word name for it. And you can actually have him holding that too. Like so. Now he does have a holster, you can see at the side, and it actually has an opening. Unfortunately though, as far as I can tell, you can't do anything with it. You can't really get the gun in there. I tried thinking, okay, you can kind of get the handle in there, but just the way his torso is, you really can't get anything in there. So even though he does have a holster, can't do all that much with it. Which is fine, because I probably will just have Earthworm Jim on display with his gun anyways. A very cool toy, Earthworm Jim. You gotta love it. And I'm going to do the other reviews of the Earthworm Jim figures. So there is so much more to come with Earthworm Jim, guys. This figure, though he doesn't have as much articulation as the figures nowadays, he has such a likable charm to him. Got to go with the old classic Earthworm Jim suit as well. Going to give this guy a 7. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That was a Toy Spot. Today we were looking at Playmates Earthworm Jim figures. We're looking at the original, the classic. We were looking at Earthworm Jim himself. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for many more spots to come, and I'll see you guys next time. Groovy!